Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Ride with Ted. Good morning, it's Sunday morning, it's about 11:30 on April 29th, 2018. Hello everybody. I made this video today because something's been bothering me for a couple of days, and I was trying to decide if I was going to talk about it or not, but I decided to go ahead and talk about it. What happened was a couple days ago, I had a Lyft ride, and the person was on their way to work, right? And so I did my usual, hello, how are you? And, oh, fine, everything's good. And we just had like a little lighthearted conversation on the way. About a quarter way through the ride, the rider started complaining, saying this trolley was in front of us and slowing us down. And I said, oh, we're nearing the Darby, Pennsylvania Transportation Center, so the trolley will turn off and we'll be in good shape. So 2 or 3 blocks up, the trolley turns off, smooth sailing, until we run into a line of traffic. And then she starts with this whole thing about, I hate the scenic route. I take this route to work every day. The drivers take this route every day, and I'm sick of it. So I says, well, is there a better way to go, better route to go? So she says, well, we could have taken the highway. I said, well, at this point, we're deep into the county right now. It's going to be hard to get to the highway from here. I said, but the GPS is indicating within the next 2 miles, we should be able to get onto the highway. And once we get on the highway, we can make good time. I says, what time do you have to be to work? And she said, around 1. Well, at this time, it was about 12:45, and the GPS was indicating that the ride was going to be at least another 25 minutes, at least. So I said, we're probably not going to make it by 1. Well, she says, I have a little grace period. I can actually come in a little bit after that. I said, oh, great, wonderful. I'll do my best. So I'm doing my best. Well, whatever reason this particular day, there was just heavy, heavy traffic. There was nothing I could do about it. So in the meantime, and in between time, I'm trying to find alternate routes. There's nothing really viable. So the lady we get on the highway, we get up to her job, and she's still complaining about this scenic route nonsense. And then the next thing I know, we get to her job, and she's giving me directions to get back on the highway. Well, you know, at that point, you know, I was already there. I knew where the highway, I could look right out of my side window. There's the highway. So I said, thank you very much. I said, have a great day. She says, oh, thank you. You have a good day too. Well, a couple of hours, I think nothing of it. A couple hours later, I get this notice from Lyft saying that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm totally off. I wasn't Lyft, it was Uber. I am so sorry. It was Uber. And Uber sends me a notice saying that a rider complained about your navigation and saying that your navigation could have been better. So I immediately wrote back and I said, listen, I says, this rider was rude. She never suggested any other route until we were like 50% into the drive already, and it was too late to make any adjustments to the route. And I says, just because I may know my city very well, it still doesn't mean that I know every single shortcut to get to a highway. And I don't. I mean, I know a lot of shortcuts that other people are like, oh, wow. And sometimes when I take those cuts, they're like, oh, wow, you know, I didn't even know that that was a good shortcut. And it is. There's all kinds of shortcuts, especially I learned that from my days on the police force. And there were days when I had to dart in and out of streets. And there were days when I was on my way to work myself, and there was a fire, and I had to figure out, how do I get around this detour with the fire hoses and all that stuff. So I learned over the years how to cut in and cut out. But in this particular case, I was driving to an area that I knew, like I knew the location outside of the city, but how to get there, I had never driven this route before. So I was very unsure, and I was very heavily reliant on the GPS. So I explained to them that I followed the GPS exactly. And, you know, I know that it's like some kind of generic message or something, but then someone typed a response in, because a computer can't, well, maybe the computer can, I'm not sure, but it just seemed to me like it was not necessarily a computer type response. Like someone typed in and says, well, listen, we appreciate your feedback, and unfortunately we can't change the ratings once they are put into the app. And so basically I felt, I don't know, I don't want to say the word betrayed, but I felt kind of funny, because I said the lady never gave me any real indication that she was going to complain about it, because she told me that the drivers take this route every day. So I'm like, well, if the drivers take the route every day, at this point, if you're a seasoned rider, then you should have said something, like in the beginning, before I even pulled off. And I'm the type of person that I'll listen. Now, maybe some drivers will say, I know my way, or, oh, like she said, the one driver said he didn't feel like sitting in the 5-minute wait that it would take on the expressway, because one of our expressways, Interstate 76, is extremely congested. So he probably didn't feel like sitting in this traffic to wait for the traffic to clear out. 5 minutes. So anyway, I'm saying the lady never said to me that, you know, before you take off, would you mind just making a left here, make a right here, and jump on Interstate 76? No problem. I would have done that. Whether she knew I would have done it or not is irrelevant. She could have suggested it. So that kind of ticked me off. But then she never gave me any, she just gave me this standard, okay, have a good day and have a nice day. And to me, that's kind of odd. I wouldn't have said that. Like, if I was disgruntled or upset with someone, I would never even say, well, have a good day. You know, I wouldn't even say it and mean it. So it's kind of bizarre, but people are people. Anyway, I'm learning a lot about people, because this is not the first time that this happened, but this is the first time that I've actually recorded a video about it. But it's happened on numerous occasions, and people always say the same thing. Oh, have a great day. Thank you very much. Goodbye. But they're ready to file a complaint against you. Like, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I'm not trying to put the lady on blast per se, because I realize this is a normal occurrence. It's happened on numerous occasions, so it's a normal occurrence for some folks. But I would say, if you're going to make a complaint against someone, the last thing that someone wants to hear is, have a good day, because that is meaningless. It's empty, hollow. It means nothing. And you know, I genuinely mean it, and I say it to each and every rider. I say, thank you for riding with me. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have fun with whatever that you're doing. Now, if a person gets nasty with me in a car, I'm not even going to say that. I won't say that to them, because I don't mean it. I wouldn't say it. And I would say, like I had to say to a rider once, you need to tone down what you're saying to me, because I'm not feeling what you're saying right now. So she was trying to be dismissive of me and giving me this, oh, just turn left here, and you know, you made a wrong turn, and being condescending. And I had to like check that at the door and say, listen, I'm not putting up with that. I says, I'm giving you a ride. That's what this whole thing is about, this ride share thing. So I try to break it down and make it simple, right? So the whole ride share thing is about, 1, giving you a ride from point A to point B. 2, to make it as pleasant and safe as possible. And that means even trying to make it so that you have a great experience so that you will want to come back and ride with me or with some other driver again. Because if you had an unpleasant experience, one, it's going to make you look sideways and say, well, maybe I won't ride with this company again. Maybe I might switch to Lyft, or vice versa. Maybe I don't like what Lyft did to me. I might switch to Uber. So my point is, I try to make it so that you want to come back, and whether you ride with me, and I've had repeat rides before, and even people have remarked that they were happy when we repeated the ride again. So that's my mantra. I try to make it as safe and enjoyable and pleasant as possible and make you want to ride again. That's my theme. And so at the end of the day, if I'm not reaching that theme, or I'm not giving you that service, then I need to know. But I don't need to know in a nasty gram from Uber or Lyft. I need you to just be a person and be a grown-up and be honest and just say, listen, you know, you could have done this different, or you could have done that different. And it's not being confrontational. It's just being real. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just real. I can't pretend like this. I'm a real person, and I keep it real. So that was my experience. It just bothered me. It also dropped my rating down. I was already at 4.88, and it or was it 8.7, and it dropped me down. It dropped my rating down. And the thing about it is, I'm not so much annoyed about the rating. I'm annoyed about the little nasty gram one, and annoyed about that little yellow thing that shows up, the issues with your week thing. And it seems like they just keep it on there, and they keep it on there, and they keep it on there forever, even though it's supposed to be like a week, but it seems like it's on there forever and ever and ever. And you know what? Here's the thing that I'm always constantly talking to people about. When things like this pop up and you say something, there's nothing done. There's no, okay, we're going to take that off. There's nothing happens except that they send you this generic message and say, we're sorry. It's ridiculous. We need a forum where we can sit down with some executive from Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or whoever that you drive for and say, listen, we have a real issue, concern, conversation we like to have with you, and weekly. We should be allowed to do that and sit down and discuss these issues. And I remember a job I had previously at the airport where the manager was like kind of distant, even though his office was just across the way from where we worked. But you could never access him because he was either on a conference call with other executives, or he was on talking with his boss about issues that had affected the airline like the day before and things like that. So I could never air a grievance until something happened negatively that they wanted to talk to me about. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, the manager needs you to see him in his office at 10 o'clock. He wants to discuss this with you. Okay, fine. But my point is, we need to be able to access someone who has some influence or control and say, listen, this is one of our pet peeves, grievances, whatever, but there's no one. So, but the thing about being an independent contractor is you kind of can say certain things that you wouldn't normally be able to say, like if you were an employee, to say without the fear of repercussion. But then there's that little fine line you got to walk, because you could say something and then the person says, well, he said something that made me feel uncomfortable, and then you get another nasty gram. Well, I don't know. I guess some people probably just ignore that stuff and say to hell with it. I don't know what people do. Maybe that's the case. But for me, personally, I just feel like that if you're going to send me the nasty gram and it's going to pop up on my screen, I'm going to look at it. Now, whether I take it to heart or not, that's another story. But I took this one to heart because I felt that I provided this lady with the most reasonable, most outstanding thing that I could possibly do to get her to her destination. And, oh, I left out a major part of the story. The whole reason that this lady was running late was 95% of the reason was her own fault. How, right? What she said to me was that she knows that it takes a minute. It takes a while to get to her job. She says, but she feels that she waits until the last minute because she wants to get that little extra bit of rest. So I said to her, Miss, well, you know, when you're running late like this, I said, all you have to do is call a little earlier. She said, I'm not calling earlier when if I was going to do that, I just might as well take the bus to work. And I went, huh? What? Like, what sense does that make? But you rather beat up on the Uber Lyft driver by making them the fall guy for your mistake, or your, it's not even a mistake, for your deliberate actions of waiting till the last minute to call for a ride when you know that you have a time restraint on your job. And this isn't the first time she's done that, because in the middle of the ride, she called in and asked them, could someone adjust her time? So she's done this before. She does this on a regular basis, and I just happen to be the poor, unfortunate clod that got her. But when I sent my complaint in myself, which that's the one thing I do like about it, is that not only can they complain about you, but you can counter complain. So I do like that, if in the sense that I'm not a big complainer, but if someone's going to write in about me on something when I'm trying to help you and do the right thing and get you there where you need to be on time, then yeah, I'm going to complain too. So having said that, you know, I realized that this woman had a problem. She did this on a regular basis. So, but by me writing in my complaint, Uber then says that we will do our best to not pair you together again. And I'm like, thank you, because I do not want to extend my service and my offers of trying to get people to where they need to be in a timely, safe manner and doing everything I can possibly legally do without speeding, because I don't do that, but I do everything legally possible within my power, including trying to figure out shortcuts and trying to go around traffic and trying to get people where they want to go without someone complaining about the fact that they're late still, because you took the time to stay in bed instead of getting up a little bit earlier and getting on your way. So how's that the driver's fault? It's not. So this wasn't a big deal. It's just that it bothered me to a point. And some people might look at this video and go, well, it's not a big deal. Why are you complaining? But why I'm complaining is because I'm the type of person that when I'm trying to do my best for you, I don't need your complaints, because I had several rides where people were on the edge, and I actually got one woman to her job like exactly 1 minute before she had to punch in. And yeah, she had to jump out of the car and run into the building, but she said, thank you very much, because she wouldn't even have had that minute. And she waited till the last minute too. She was one of those that said, oh, I just wanted to get more sleep. But she said, thank you, because now I'll be on time. Because I got her there on time. I knew a little shortcut, cut across, got her there within a minute to spare, which was great, because all she had to do was run to the clock and boop, 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 and she was on time. Because it wouldn't have went past the minute, because it was just at the minute. So say it was like 1:59, she had to punch in at 2. So by the fact that she got there at 1:59, she's golden. Because even if the clock said 2 o'clock, she's still on time. Now, if it's a 2:01, that's different, but it wouldn't have went to 2:01 because she was right there by the time clock. So my point is, in saying all this, is that I strive to be good. I strive to give people good service. I strive to get people there on time. I strive to get people there in a safe manner. And I try to be courteous and friendly. And that's what I do. And I get a lot of compliments. I was actually surprised because I never looked at my Lyft feedback until this morning. And I looked at my Lyft feedback and I was getting lots of 5 stars. I was getting kudos for being friendly, which I didn't even know you could rate someone on that, but I was getting friendly. I was getting great conversation. I was getting clean car. I was getting all these kudos. I was getting like 6 different kudos that I was looking at. And I was like, I was just surprised. So I said, from now on, I will be looking at the feedback just because I like to get honest feedback from folks. You know, I do like to get the honest feedback. So even if it was bad feedback, I could still take it and use it constructively to try to make it a positive thing. But in this case, when someone is doing something deliberate to be late and they know that they're going to be late, I can't make nothing positive out of that. Only thing I can do is try to get you there on time, but I can't make miracles happen, and I can't pick up my car and fly it over traffic. It doesn't work that way, never will. But that's what happens. So that was my rant for today. I didn't want it to be all negative. It's a beautiful day. It's a little crispy. It's about 51 degrees here in Philly, but it's nice. It's partially sunny right now. And I actually pulled over. I'm getting ready to go get my coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm going to continue picking up some more folks. I just dropped off a young lady, my first ride of the day, to her job at the a restaurant outside of the city. And I'm back in the city now, and I'm going to start picking up some folks and dropping them off where they need to go. And hopefully make someone's day a little bit better. But thanks, guys, for listening. And as always, have a safe and enjoyable day. And I will talk to you guys when I make my next video. Take it easy.